Hey, everybody, welcome back to MaryBird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we're welcoming you back to another episode of The Garden and see what we're doing. And as we always do, Mary, as you know, I got to ask you, what's new in the garden this week?
Ooh, this past week, I went on a seed starting extravaganza.
You did. Yes, you did.
An explosion. I did. And, I planted some sunflowers that are already sprouting. I'm so astonished. But I did plant chocolate cherry sunflowers.
Ooh.
They're going to be beautiful with red, with a deep, deep brown center to them.
Oh, is that where the chocolate is because of the center?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also planted teddy bear sunflowers.
Aw, that's nice.
Very cute little pom-poms of yellow are going to be on there. And these two varieties are supposed to stay moderately short and have multiple branches.
Oh, that would be nice. I remember, we had sunflowers a couple of years ago that were like the real ones.
Yes.
And they were monsters.
They were monsters, which I really want to plant again.
You do? Okay.
I do.
They were, when they, I remember at the end of the season, the stalks on those things were just huge. I was shocked.
They were like 2.5 inches in diameter, weren't they?
They were a lot larger than I thought, but they were actually really cool. They're really cool to grow. So yeah, I'd be up for that.
Good. Totally. I'm looking forward to it then.
Good.
So you like to plant sunflowers in succession in your garden because they're very good biomass amendments for your soil. They're really good for your soil.
Okay.
So yeah. And one of the things that I'm kind of excited about this year is I planted some Taiwan yard-long beans.
Okay.
And they're already sprouting up as well. And so these beans are especially good for our heat situation. They'll grow really well in the heat. And they truly the actual bean can get yard long.
Wow. A yard.
A yard.
Wow.
36 inches.
Not the plant, but the actual bean itself?
The bean.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
And they do grow on indeterminate vines, so they are supposed to grow over a long period of time. I'm very excited about them.
Yeah, are those in the raised bed thing that we have?
They'll likely go in the ground.
In the ground.
Or they might go in the raised bed to grow over the archways.
Okay.
We'll see.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be neat.
I think it will. I'm very excited about it. And I also planted another variety called the Chinese red noodle bean.
All right.
It's also a very long bean, and it grows well in the heat.
Wow.
And so what else did I plant? Oh, I planted, marigolds.
Of course.
I planted one variety called Naughty Marietta.
Okay.
And it is a very short-growing, small marigold that you put in the front of your borders, a low-growing variety. I think it gets like 8 inches tall.
Okay.
And so,
why are they naughty? I'm just curious.
I'm sure that they just scatter their seeds everywhere.
We'll go with it. I like the name, so that's good. All right.
Yeah. What do you have new in the garden?
I've been watching my peppers. I'm a pepper guy. Well, I'm a rose guy, but you take care of those. I'm watching my peppers, and this is like the third season I've planted them, and I never actually know when they're ready. It's hard to tell for me. Because when I go to the store and see like a jalapeno, they're big. And I don't know if I don't wait long enough, or I don't know. I don't know if I'm impatient or if the plant we have is the wrong plant or not. So I tried to do a little research. Unfortunately.
Excellent.
The only thing they say on all these, so I have a poblano pepper out there. I have a super chili pepper.
A super chili
out there. I have a couple of each.
Interesting.
And then I have the crushed red pepper.
Yes.
Which I'm very curious about. And I have the jalapeno pepper plants.
Yes.
And every single one of them that I look at just says you can basically pick them whatever you want. So not a lot of help there. Like the poblano, they said is usually like 4 to 6 inches long and gets green, but you can let it go longer.
Right.
And the thing that's I think gets me is they all say that they are ready for harvest in like 75 days, but we bought them. I don't know if that means like from a seed or if that means when they start coming out. Because we bought them and they were already plants.
They were transplants. Yeah.
So it just says when they're like deep green. Some of them say when they're red, like the crush, you can let them go to red if you want. I know in the past I've waited too long and they've just shriveled. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on them.
The interesting thing about peppers and other plants, tomatoes and other plants that produce a fruited product, is that when you let the fruit stay on there too long, the plant thinks its responsibility for the year is over, and they're not going to put the energy into, they've made their seed for the year. They're done.
Okay.
Right? And so another thing on peppers is when you harvest them, like you're going to wait for some of them to turn red. Well, that is accumulating more sugars in the fruit. And if you want them to not be as not as sweet, you can harvest them a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Like jalapenos, they will turn red if you leave them on the plant.
Right.
But generally, we eat them at the green stage.
Right. So, yeah.
So it's kind of, it's a question of what's your taste.
I think so. I'm more trying to figure out the size. So, I mean, if these say they're like 4 to 6 inches long, then I'll wait. They all seem to get about that big, but some of them aren't the long ones, though. Some of them are, a little rounder.
Right.
So we're just going to have to really dig down, and I have to get you out there to help me with.
This is going to be great.
Yeah, they're always hard to figure out. And I want to do them when I can eat them. I mean, that's kind of the goal.
I don't think that the question is when you can eat them, because I think you could eat them right now.
Yeah, you can eat them anytime, yeah.
Yes. I think the question is, at what stage of sweetness do you want to be able to use them the way you want to use them?
Right.
Right. And some of them are actually grown to dry.
Well, that's like the crushed red pepper.
The crushed red
one
pepper
that's out there.
Yes.
So the thing you pick those and then you actually do dry them.
Interesting.
And then you flake them and turn them out. I'm curious on that one.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that they're big enough when I pick, when I harvest them to actually, do something with them. I want to do that. I want to try this whole deal with them.
That's
see how it works out. Put them on food
it.
or
and I'm crazy
whatever.
about poblano.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So we'll see. I just to let you know, I was out there this morning. We had a really, really high wind and we had some hail last night. And unfortunately,
no.
I think one of the poblanos took a little bit of a hit there. They didn't all, but we did. We had quite a bit of hail last night. So
we did.
I think it knocked a few of them over. It broke some off. Not all of them. So we'll stick with them and we'll report back here on the Great Pepper Adventures. I'm going to call it.
Great Pepper Adventures. I love them.
Very good. That's all I had for this week in the garden.
Oh, I have one more new.
Okay.
I have a new thing. So I planted out some tomatoes that we grew from seed, and I think on the seed package, if it tells you that it's ready in 85 days, I think that's from when you start the seed.
I think so,
and it sends up. I usually count from the first true leaves. Your first little set of leaves are just cotyledons. They're not the true leaves. But I think I like to count the days from the first true leaves that come up.
Okay, good to know.
That's my theory.
Well, I'm going with you. Hey, you're the gardener here, so I'm going with you.
And I did plant those tomatoes out, and they're called Black Beauty tomatoes. And I've been astonished at them. They are just as black can be.
Yes, they are. They are out there.
Oh, my goodness. They're lovely. And they're just filled with the same anthocyanin like a blueberry would have. So you get a lot of antioxidants when you eat them.
Okay.
But like you, I keep going out there and testing the tomato every day. I'm having a hard time determining, is this right? Because they actually start out very dark black.
Oh, okay.
So I am, I'm experimenting as well. But I do have to say, wow, I'm excited about these tomatoes.
Well, you'll have to, when you get ready, you'll have to pull one in and cut it. I'm not a tomato eater, as you know. So
No, absolutely
you're going to have
not.
to be
You have to hide the tomatoes.
hide it in some food and I might eat it. But I would like to see the inside when you cut it open and kind of see how it is. They're really cool looking.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
They look like a black satin dress.
They do.
It's
they
amazing.
do. It's amazing. Okay.
And the only other small tidbit is that we have begun work on our garden walkways, which I'm excited
We
about.
did. Well, we got we bought 4 pavers that we want to test and see if we like them.
Now, how heavy were those pavers?
Really heavy, really. as everything seems to be in the garden, very heavy. So we're gonna have to take our time with this because I'm not.
Absolutely.
I don't think we can just.
No.
I'm not up for the delivery or whatever of all of them. So we're gonna take our time.
Yeah, we're sort of planning as we go as well.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
And we're going to look at these and see if we like them. So we got 4. We'll take a look and see if that's the right style that we like. And if it is, then we'll
keep going.
We'll do a few at a time and kind of work our way and take our time with it. I'm not trying to do this in a weekend. It's just, honestly, it's just too heavy.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Very good. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Nice.
That'll be fun. Okay.
Very nice.
Okay. We're going to transition now from what's in the garden to what's our first topic of the week.
Well, this past week, we did a little field trip.
We did.
We did, and it was so much fun. Oh my gosh. We had a day out together, which was a lot of fun all by itself. And sometimes it's great to get in the car and just drive and see the scenery. And that's what we did.
It is, and it's wildflower season here, so that makes the drive out in the country a little nicer.
They are stunning, just stunning this year. And so we went to, by happenstance, we found our way to Willow City Loop.
Right.
We didn't set out to go there.
We did not set out, but we, I don't know.
We had known about it previously, but we were in the area, and so we decided to travel the little loop. And it's so interesting. You go to Fredericksburg, Texas, which is a very quaint little town and quite an attraction. And a few miles outside of Fredericksburg is Willow City Loop. And so we drove around it. Right. It is actually... You drive through private ranches. It's actually a private road, and you go across a lot of cattle guards, and you go through some hill country and travel around. It was amazing.
It was a really
loved it.
Really, really nice drive. It's about 13 miles, a circle of a loop.
Yes.
Lots and lots. I mean, it's a very famous loop here during wildflower season. Because there's a lot of bluebonnets and a lot of other wildflowers.
Well, I'm so happy that we kind of went on a weekday. We didn't go on a weekend.
And it was even for a weekday. It was
pretty crowded.
Yeah, I can imagine on the weekends it's probably pretty darn crowded out there. But it wasn't bad. I mean, we were able to go slow, and
we did,
and it's kind of nice. And there's room if somebody doesn't want to stick behind you, they can just pass you. So
yes,
and like you said, it was most of it's a dirt road.
Yes, it is.
And it's really neat, though. These wildflowers are crazy.
Oh, man. We ran into, of course, bluebonnets. Stunning displays of bluebonnets. And what was very interesting, we stopped at one point. You're not really supposed to get out of the car, but because it is a private road. But we actually did in one little spot, and just for a minute or two, and I've never known that bluebonnets had a scent.
Yeah, it was over. There were so many in that one field, and we, just to clarify, we weren't the only ones that stopped.
No, yes, you're correct.
But the The scent was, I was overwhelmed. I had all the years we've lived here in Texas, I never knew that they had that strong of a scent.
No, me either. And the field was just alive. It was alive with butterflies, bees. Oh, it was just
it was
amazing.
Beautiful, really beautiful.
It was really amazing. So we traveled on that, and one of the private ranches is called the TK Ranch. And I think this is one of your favorite sections of the roadway.
Right.
Why is that? Do you remember the fence?
Oh, it's got the, so the fencing where all the stakes are for the fencing all have boots on them, old boots.
Old boots.
They have old boots covering almost every single stake out there.
I just love it.
It's really, really neat. It's very unique.
It is.
And it's full. I mean, it's like there's no stake without one, which is pretty cool.
That's right. So that was our trip around Willis City Loop. Did you enjoy the photography?
I did. I took my camera and was able to get some good pictures. It was, I will say we had gone there one other time. Mm-hmm. I don't know, a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I did not remember that it was actually that long. I was actually, I was pleased because it was a lot of fun and you can just kind of meander and take your time.
Oh, great
but
fun.
I didn't remember it being 13 miles when we first went. It seemed like it was shorter, but really, I mean, it's an amazing trip if you ever get a chance to go. Like I said, it's right outside of Fredericksburg, Texas. So it's very popular.
Yes.
Yes. As is Fredericksburg. I mean, it's grown up and it's a big wine. It's wine country for Texas,
amazing.
To be honest with you.
It really is.
But the loop is really just an amazing little ride. So it was a surprise. We did not go with the intention of doing that, right?
And one of the things that struck me is that we felt. Now, we drove over from Austin. Austin is kind of on the edge of the Blackland Prairie on the east side of 35. And then you travel more into the hill country on the west side of 35. But we actually felt as though we had traveled kind of northwest into a drier, more arid climate, more towards maybe the Rocky Mountain areas.
Right.
It really felt that we had traveled very far away from Austin, and just the plants and the rock formations, and actually the soil there is red.
Right, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Which says it has more iron in it than we have here. And so, that I was very amazed.
It was a very fun trip. It's kind of funny because up in the Northeast they have the leaf peepers, the people who go for the turning of the leaves, right?
That.
They all go in the fall.
They do.
And here in Texas, we have the wildflower and bluebonnet season. And so it is very similar. They're shorter seasons. I mean,
they are.
For us.
What do you think the season is? Like, what would you estimate the months?
For us?
Bluebonnets.
I don't know. It's pretty quick.
It changes
it's pretty quick
every year according to the climate, but it is pretty quick.
It's fairly quick. I mean, you got to I think we're right at the peak. I think we did a good job of getting out there. And I think it depends on rain and some other things, but a lot of fun. So if you ever get a chance to do it and went out there, I would definitely highly recommend it. Yeah. Yes. And take your camera and get out there. And it's like I said, it's a road where you can you can go slow. You don't have to.
And you want to go slow.
You want to go slow. You want to see it.
There is actually livestock that cross the road, so you definitely want to go slowly.
Right.
Yeah, that's another amazing part of it too. They have signs that say "Watch for livestock."
Yeah. Just a great little meandering trip if you ever get a chance to do it. Very nice.
I love that.
All right. So that's not the reason we went out to Fredericksburg.
No.
We went out for a different reason, and we ended up going there. So why did, Mary, I have to ask you, why did we go to Fredericksburg?
Well, for many years, every time we go to Fredericksburg, I've always enjoyed stopping at the Wild Seed Farm. And I think I've talked about it before on the podcast. I look forward to it. It is like they say, or their tagline is that they are the nation's largest working wild seed farm. And they do supply a lot of the states with their wild seeds to scatter along the highways and byways and things like that. And so this, where we went to, that has the gift shop and has the little restaurant, and it also has a wildflower walking trail, that was begun in 1995.
Okay.
And they've expanded throughout the years. I think it's been in one family for the whole time. And it's quite beautiful. Sadly, unfortunately, they had just had a hailstorm right before we got there.
Right.
And their fields of red corn poppies, which are stunning, just stunning. They took a hit.
Yeah, they've been knocked back a bit. The hail was a little brutal.
It was kind of brutal.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was still fun. We still had fun. There was a lot of
we have
stuff to see.
adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, it's still nice. We did the walk, right? We went around the little walk there.
We did. And we took so many photos.
Took some nice photos. A lot of butterflies.
Beautiful butterflies. Oh.
And it is still a pretty place, but we were wondering, it didn't look quite the same as it had the past.
Yeah.
And when we asked someone that worked there, they said that the hailstorm, like a couple days earlier, kind of knocked them back some, but it was still nice.
It is a cute destination, and you can stop. You could sit in their little restaurant, sit outside on the patio and have a nice drink. They have a shop where you could buy salsas and jellies and jams. And
of course, their wine. They do wine. Like everybody else in
yes.
Fredericksburg, they do wine.
Look at that. We hadn't been out there in quite a while, so that took me a little bit by surprise. But they have a vineyard today.
They do. Mm-hmm. And I would just say if anyone's in Texas, they may already know about Fredericksburg's wine region, as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
There is an enormous amount of wineries out in that area. And they have, there's wine tours. You can get on a wine bus and go from tour to tours.
My goodness, yes.
So there's lots and lots of wine out there.
What is that roadway how do we get out there? I can't think of it's not 281. You go 281 and then you pick up.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember exactly. You're my navigator, so I just follow where you tell me to go.
but just dotted along that road from Johnson City, really.
Yeah.
Out to Fredericksburg. And one time we stopped at a really cute place in High. Do you remember?
The Garrison Brothers. The Garrison Brothers make genuine Texas bourbon there. And even High, it's been a few years since we've been out there, and that was just pretty much a one stop sign down. It's growing.
It used to have a little filling station.
Yeah, it's all great. It's grown really tremendously out there, but it's cool. It's a cool destination if you want to go out and you're into that kind of stuff. But the other thing is it's actually very beautiful out there.
Oh man, it is stunning.
Yeah.
Yes. Good history out that way. So yeah.
Very good. Very good. So we went to the Wildflower Center. Or the Wild Seed Farm.
The Wild Seed Farm.
Wildflowers. Wild Seed Farm. And then when we were checking out, the lady had said, "Hey, have you ever been to Willow Loop?" And we said, "Yeah, a long time ago." And it just clicked. Hey, we're close. So she gave us a little map. Mm-hmm. We headed into Fredericksburg, took a right, and went out to the loop and had a blast. So the whole trip overall was really nice. It's not that far from us, like an hour and a half from us somewhere around there. Nice trip. Very nice little day trip for us.
Oh, so many family things to do out that way as well. It's not just go for the wine. They have a wildlife safari park very close to there.
They do, yeah.
We've been 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we've taken the grandkids out that way. Yeah, it's very, very nice.
And they have a Jellystone camping park. They have LBJ.
Gee, we sound like a
travel.
We sound like the travel people for Fredericksburg, but it is nice to go out there every once in a while. I like going out there.
We usually do maybe once a year.
Yeah, we do try to get out there. But it's nice too to kind of see what other people are doing in their gardens and the Wild Seed and get some ideas from them.
I did get an idea. I was surprised because we saw they had fashioned a whiskey barrel so that it had multiple tiers to it, and they were actually growing succulents right in the full sun.
They were. That was pretty cool.
In the full Texas sun. And I had thought that was not possible in our area. So I was quite intrigued. And they did have silver ponyfoot spilling over the edge to trail out. And we do have a lot of that in our yard, which I love very much.
Yeah.
It's a Dichondra repens variety. Anyways, but yeah, I would like to try that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can always get ideas when you go visit some of these places and bring those back to your own backyard garden and give them a try, or investigate them at least and see if it's something that'll work for you. And the other thing that Mary forgot to mention is that she bought quite a few seeds while we were there. They have a seed section, and I did before I knew it. I will be honest, I saw you picking up a few. But when we were checking out, I was like, oh, boy, she got a lot. You actually got a lot of seeds out there.
I started some of them.
I know. No, I know you have, and I know they'll all be used. I thought it was funny.
The Ladybird Dwarf Gold Cosmos and the Ladybird Dwarf Pink, I think it's Pink Cosmos. I already started those seeds, and they have already germinated and sprouting.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yes. I'm quite excited.
Well worth it then. Well worth the trip just to get some good seeds.
So along that way, they do sell a lot of wildflower seeds in there. And some of the wildflowers that we saw along the loop, I was able to identify. You remember those great big white ones that we were wondering what
we didn't know what those were, yeah.
They are a white prickly poppy.
Wow.
Interesting. Yes. And we saw a lot of purple verbena and the little bitty pink flowers that grow kind of close to the ground. They are a pink phlox.
Okay.
So
nice.
I loved seeing all of that. And do you remember you told me at one point of the drive, there was this patch that had blues and some yellows, but a brilliant red. Mm-hmm. And so I looked that wildflower up, and it is an interesting wildflower.
And what is it?
Well, commonly, it's a paintbrush.
Oh, okay.
It's called a paintbrush, yeah.
I've heard of that, actually.
They can also be called prairie fire, or they could be called painted cup.
Whoa.
They have several common names. And there was an author that wrote a book about them. Her name was Tommy DePaola, and she wrote Legend of the Indian Paintbrush.
Whoa.
Aren't they just gorgeous?
They're really pretty.
Yeah. Actually, what you're seeing, the bright red color, is not the flower. The bright red kind of cups around the little flower, which you don't see it very well, but it's actually a bract, or sort of a leaf like a poinsettia has a bract on it.
Okay.
And so one of the things about this flower that I found very interesting, I'm going to have to do some more research on, was the plant photosynthesizes. Most plants, they photosynthesize to create the energy for them to live and grow and do what they need, right? And this plant does do some photosynthesis, but it's also a plant that takes nutrients from other plants. And so I want to see, is it a symbiotic type of situation? Does it give back? I'm not sure like that. I would like to look some more of that up.
Delve into the science of it.
Yes.
I like it. I know you like that.
I didn't know that plants really did that. But they will come, they're a biennial plant. And so they do live on prairies and open woodlands. And so what they do is they interact with the native grasses and other things in order for them to have nutrition.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
so that
interesting.
caught my
that is interesting.
piqued my interest. Well, they're also a plant that requires pollinators. And so they are specifically good for bees and hummingbirds. And the reason for that is they don't have a place for other pollinators to perch while they get the nectar. They just have the bract. It doesn't have anything on the lower, so they need a hovering type insect. And or bird, a hummingbird. And so
Wow.
I was quite surprised to learn about that. And I do have the botanical name, but I'm not sure I know how to pronounce it. Castilleja cochina.
Okay.
Cochinea, I think,
All right.
is so a little interesting.
Very
tidbit.
interesting.
Yes.
That's cool. That's cool. Like I said, I know you like to get into the science of stuff.
I
so
do.
I'm sure you'll be delving more into that.
It does have a little folk tale that goes with it. I do recommend reading The Legend of the Indian Paintbrush, but I will say that there was a young Native American boy, and he wanted to depict the sunset, and he didn't have red in his palette, or he didn't know how to make the red. And so the Great Spirit, he asked the Great Spirit to help him, and the Great Spirit gave him the Indian paint, or the paintbrush
Oh, okay.
flower. And so after he had depicted the sunset, he just fluttered all the paintbrushes across the land. And we get them every spring.
Very nice.
I love that.
That's
I love that
good little
tale.
story. That's cool. All right. I like it.
So we always have a lot of folklore with our natural
Yes.
habitat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very nice. I like how you spun that right in there, too. That was
spun
good.
it.
Good work.
Well, I really have talked about all my information.
Is that it for you,
this
Mary Bird?
week.
Well, I have one thing.
Oh, I'm
So
excited.
we have started our irrigation. And I think now, I've only run it one time, but I think it's now time to get our little can or whatever we're going to put in the yard to see how much water we're getting each time.
Absolutely.
Because I do want to make sure that we're watering enough and not overwatering, obviously.
Right.
So I think, right now we need like a 6-inch, 6 inches of depth. The water needs to go to a depth of 6 inches for each time we do it. So I know you have a little thing you can put in and measure. I don't know what it's called. What's that thing you can put in there?
Remember that we do have a moisture meter.
Moisture meter. There you
Absolutely.
go. There you go. So I'm going to get that.
Then I believe it was in our podcast about watering that we said you could use a trowel and you could make a slice down 6 inches in the ground and test it to see if it feels like a wrung out sponge.
Right. So we're going to have to put some of those to work and kind of see if we have our watering set up correctly. Make sure we're doing it right.
Very nice.
Before the next time. And right now I'm just doing it once a week. So I don't know if that's right, wrong, and different, to be honest with you.
Different. I have read on a lot of sites that they say a good thorough deep watering not as often will encourage the roots to reach for the water and grow more healthily.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, I know some of the things they say for our grass is, it's time when your footprint doesn't bounce back from the grass. So you can kind of tell when that's kind of ready to go.
Okay.
Which is interesting kind of thing. So we'll do a little more research on that, and I'll figure that out and kind of.
I think one practice that you do that's helpful in our lawn is we have a mulching mower, and most times you let the grass be mulched and placed back onto the surface, right?
I do, yeah.
And I think that does help with their water retention.
I think it does too. Yeah, and that's kind of why I like to do it that way. So I've got that on a to-do list. That along with the pavers, literally any extremely heavy things that you come up with. Because I've be honest with you, there's every gardening thing you do is heavy.
Heavy, I know.
It's an amazing thing.
It's amazing,
but it's fun. So. All right. Well, good. That's actually all I had. I just wanted to kind of bring that up and let everybody know that I'll be working on that and my peppers. That and my peppers.
I love it.
Those are my 2 projects from gardening, and I'm going to leave the rest of it to you, and I will help you with whatever you need. How's that?
Awesome. I love it very much. And your lawn does look really nice.
It is. It's getting there. It's getting there now that we can water.
Absolutely.
Right. Very good. Well, hey, we really appreciate everyone listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Hope you stick with us here. We're having fun doing this every week. We've got field trips. We've got backyard garden stuff. We're kind of all over the place, but we're having fun with it.
I'm actually ready to get back in the garden.
I know. I think Mary's itching now that the weather's great out there. She's going to be in the garden a little bit more. And we're going to kind of report back on what's working, what's not working.
And as always, thank you.
Yes, thank you guys again. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.